Hey, before we dive into this week's episode, if you've been enjoying the show, I'd love your support. Take just 10 seconds to rate and review us on your favorite podcast platform. Your feedback helps others discover the wisdom and inspiration that I share on the Pivot to Balance podcast. Let's build a community of balance seekers together. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to share the love. Now let's dive into the episode. Hello and welcome to the Pivot to Balance podcast. I'm your host, AK, and I hope you're doing well. In a world that pulls us in a million different directions and with a billion distractions, finding balance can feel like an ambiguous quest. Join me on this podcast as I try to navigate life's twists and turns with mindfulness, purpose, and grace. In each episode, we will dive into topics like self-care, personal growth, mindset shifts by sharing practical insights, stories, and maybe even interviews. Get ready to pivot, to recalibrate, and find your balance. Follow the Pivot to Balance podcast, and I will see you on the other side. Welcome back to this week's episode. I want to start this episode by saying something important. And I want to ask you genuinely to listen disarmed, not ready to debate, not ready to defend, just open. Just open to listening, open to learning. Because this episode might piss some people off, but I'm going to say it anyway. Life is fair. You just don't like how. And yes, I know what that sounds like. It sounds harsh, cold, almost cruel, but stay with me. Let's talk about that phrase. We've all heard it. Oh, life is not fair. You better get used to it. It's thrown around a lot, especially when we are in pain, when someone gets a job we wanted, when someone we love walks away, when something happens that we did not even see coming. But I want you to think about this. Maybe life is fair. It's just not fair in the way you expected. Before I go any further, let me be very crystal clear here. I'm not saying don't feel the pain. Feel it, grieve, get mad, get upset, cry, break things if you need to. Of course, be safe. What I'm saying is don't confuse pain with injustice. Because a lot of what we call quote unquote unfair is actually just life not matching the picture we painted. Let me give you a few examples. So let's say you apply for a job and the interviewer says, you're the perfect fit for this role. And then they end up ghosting you. Let's say a friend tells you, we'll always have each other. And then they quietly just disappear from your life and replace you. Let's say your mom tells you, whatever you choose, I will support you. And then later when you tell her what you really want, like, hey, I want to take dance lessons. And she's like, no. Now, in all those moments, you might scream, this isn't fair. This isn't what we talked about. This isn't what I expected from you. This isn't that. But ask yourself, what actually hurt you? Was it the outcome or the expectation they created that you trusted? You did not ask the interviewer to lie to you. You did not ask your friend to create the false hope of being friends forever. But you're the one sitting in that pain. That's real. But that's not the same as life being unfair. And the thing about expectations, I have heard so many people, ever since I was young, I used to have a lot of expectations. And every single person around me has told me in life, like, don't have so much expectations. Don't have so much expectations. And it's a hard thing, right? Expectations are what bend reality toward fantasy. And when that fantasy breaks, we blame life. When really, just really, we should blame the promise that was never delivered. You were given a picture, you leaned into it, you built hope around it, and when it cracked, your heart did too. That doesn't mean life is unfair. It means someone gave you something fragile and you held it like it was permanent. That job interviewer was like, you're a great fit. You're going to be such a good fit for the job. And you're like dreaming about, what am I going to wear on my first day? What am I going to wear on my 1-year anniversary at the company? or your friend is like besties forever. So you start imagining, oh, she's going to be there when I walk down the aisle. She's going to be my maid of honor. And then when your mom is like, I'm going to be very supportive, you start imagining like, oh my God, we're going to be Lorelai and Rory from Gilmore Girls. But then you think about the negative things. Like there are just so many things that we think, right? This is what I think about when I have expectations in life and it doesn't get fulfilled. And of course, I'm human too. So the instant thought process is like, what did I do to deserve this? Tell me, you've also been in this position, right? And something I kind of woke up one day and thought about, I used to have like a well behind my house. It was like underground back in India. And imagine you have that well in your home, right? It gives you water. It sustains you. It's beautiful. It's deep. It's reliable because it has water. One day, you lean in a little too far, maybe to admire the water, and you fall in. You panic. You get hurt. But eventually you somehow climb out, right? Someone's helping you, or you figure your way out of the well. Now, do you get out of it and be like, well, you bitch, it's because of you I fell in? Or do you fill it with cement and say, this well betrayed me, I'm never going to forgive this well? Or do you simply acknowledge, I leaned in too far, I forgot to hold my center, and you start building a railing, right? You still love the well, but now you know your limits. That's what expectation does to us. Oof, I felt so philosophical saying that, but that is what came in my mind. That's what I kept thinking about when I woke up in the morning. We lean too far into people, promises, or pictures of the future. I kept thinking about this because I'm doing a lot of things right now. Of course, me doing podcasting, content, my personal life, like cooking, my gymming sessions. And there are always like these little expectations everywhere. Oh, I posted this video. How many views did I get in like 5 seconds? Oh, I went to the gym 2 months in a row. Wow, why haven't I lost weight? If you think about all of that, and when we fall, we blame life. But maybe the fall was fair. Maybe it was there to remind us where our center is. Let's stop mistaking fairness for comfort. Fair doesn't mean you get what you want. Fair means everyone gets their moment, their challenge, their reckoning. Fairness is not personalized. It's not tailored to your timeline or your emotional preferences. It's way bigger than you. That job that ghosted you, maybe they saved you from a toxic team. That friend who left, maybe they were always going to. That dream that didn't happen, maybe it was clearing space for something even more aligned. I always think about this, when we are kids and we go into the kitchen and we're like, I want to play with the gas stove. I want to cut vegetables too. And then your parents are like, can you please leave? Because I cannot take the stress of you standing in the kitchen near the knife and the heat and all of the other things. In that moment, we're like, how dare you? You get to do this. I don't get to do this. But then it's like, no, I am trying to save you from harming yourself, right? You don't have to like it, but that doesn't make it unfair. Even in nature, you see this. You neglect your health, your body reacts. You poison the planet, climate shifts. It's not personal. It's just balance. Life always restores balance. Even if you never see the receipt. Life doesn't keep debts just because you didn't see the receipts. The hardest truth is some things that happen in this world are really unjust, right? Real injustice actually exists. But even then, and I'm saying this with the highest, most awareness of so many things that are happening in this world, sometimes the person who gets hit with it is the one who had the voice to speak about it. The strength to amplify it, the platform to make sure it's never forgotten. Is that fair? That injustice happened to them? No, not emotionally. But what if that's part of the bigger truth being brought to light? If you were going through a tough time, or if you're like, life is not fair, I know that a lot of people around me at this point in life, and I'm laughing because it's just like, I've gotten so tired of hearing this, but it's the truth. So many people around me are going through such a tough time. Friends, people I don't even know that well. Anybody I walk if I just walk somewhere and I meet someone new, they end up telling me like, oh no, life is difficult. And I just want you to know that it's totally fine if you're hurting. I'm not telling you to toughen up, get your shit together, and pretend like it doesn't matter. I'm just inviting you to stop saying life is not fair like it's a fact, because it's not. It's a perspective, usually a very temporary one, and it's mostly built from pain, fueled by unmet expectations, and it gets healed by seeing the bigger picture. Because look at your life, like look back and think about a time in your life where you felt like I will never, ever, ever get over this, but then you did. Because you saw the bigger picture eventually. Another thing I want to say before I kind of wrap up is you don't know enough to judge fairness. I don't care how long you've known someone. You could be their best friend, their sibling, their spouse, your mom, dad. You still don't know the scope of their experience, their past, their pain, their internal patterns. There are layers of people you will never access, right? Like if I always think about this, my parents existed way before I even existed. They had an entire life before I existed. Even, let's be real, even after I came into existence, it's not like I remember everything. I probably remember life from like every single piece of life, probably from adulthood. Do I remember every single piece of it? Do you remember every single piece of your life with your family before, you became an adult or maybe a teenager? Not every single thing. So when you say they did not deserve that or that's not fair, check yourself. Because what you're really saying is that's not how I wanted the story to go. And sometimes maybe the fairness you want, it is for you, but just not in this moment. Right? It's like, you do deserve that salary. Why can't they just give you when you start the job? No, they're not going to do that. They'll give you your first salary once you work first month. Right? You get the bonus. You get the reward once you've gone through the process. Fairness isn't always comfort. We assume if we're kind, we should be treated kindly. If we work hard, we should be rewarded. If we love deeply, we should be loved back. But life is not a vending machine. You don't put in a coin and get what you picked. Life is a web, a chain reaction, a ripple. Everything you do touches something else. Think about it this way. Let's say we're all like sitting on a web. If I pull a string here, whatever you call that web thing, if I pull that, it's going to ripple through the entire line, maybe even the parallel ones, right? The adjacent ones, the parallel ones, all of it. It's going to create this ripple effect. And it's going to bother someone else on the other side of that web. But am I doing it like, yeah, look, I can hurt you? Is that fair to that person because they didn't even know that was coming? No, but maybe they tried to do something on the other side that I just don't see. And someone next to me could be like, you didn't have to do that. They didn't deserve that. And I'd just be like, I'm sorry, I was just experimenting. Maybe someone who looks at not fully the both sides tells me like, hey, I can see that the string is affecting the other person. I don't think it's fair. That person on the other side could be like, life is not fair. I didn't even touch the string. Why is this happening to me? Life is fair. Because if that thing didn't happen, you wouldn't have even known that it was capable of having that kind of an effect. I'm not saying everything in life, just let it happen. You just have to deal with it. I'm not asking you to intellectualize every single experience in life. I'm just saying there will be moments in life where you feel like whatever I do, life doesn't reward me. That is not true. It's just that you want it right now and your timeline, things don't work on your timeline. Things work when you put your head down and do your best and stay true to your core and not keep reacting to every single external force. It's like when I used to be in exam halls when I was a kid, I would keep looking at the clock. I'd be like, when the hell will this exam get over? Because I just want to go home and sleep. I'm done. Like, I've written all that I know. I just want to leave the exam hall because I want to go home. But no. But every time I kept looking at the clock, it was moving way slower than it would have probably moved when I was like playing outside with my friends. So the more you focus too much on something, that's what they call the law of detachment, right? The more you focus like way too much energy on something, it's not going to happen because you will feel like it's taking forever for it to happen. But if you're just like, I'm just going to do the thing, regardless of the outcome, you will see momentum faster than you think. I don't know. I feel like all of this just ties into each other. And I'm going to have to sit with this. So don't cancel me. I actually don't care if you do. I just hate the phrase, life is not fair, because I think life is entirely fair. Life is not soft. It's not comforting. It's not easy, but it's fair. Life is always restoring balance with or without your understanding. And maybe if you start seeing it that way, you'll stop feeling like you're constantly losing and start asking, what role am I playing in the balance? This is my perspective from everything that I've seen in life, heard from people, been through experiences myself. And this is the perspective that I've been kind of having. But of course, if you think there's another perspective, another way to look at this, feel free to reach out, because I would love to learn, not to debate, not to argue, but just genuinely would love to learn. Thanks for sitting with this one. Share it with someone who keeps saying that life is not fair, or save it for yourself the next time it feels like nothing is working out, because maybe something deeper is. And now go grab a cup of lemon water, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.